Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today's video is a thriftlet video where I take items that I have thrifted and I upcycle them to more my style. And all of these projects will definitely have a Christmas holiday theme. I think y'all gonna enjoy it. So let's get started on today's video. If you watched my last Christmas DIY video, you have seen how I've turned these light globes into the most beautiful ornaments, but they come with a base. So I decided instead of throwing it out, I wanted to see if I could do something with the base of the light fixture as well. I'm leaving all of the pieces of the light fixture on, including the little screws. I just feel like that'll add to the overall look of the piece. I do like gold, but I like my gold a little bit more antiqued and not so shiny. So I'm taking the Waverly antiquing wax and I'm using my pointed sash paintbrush and I'm just going to stipple the antiquing wax on here. And once all of the gold is covered, I'm going to take a dry paper towel and I'm just going to stipple some of the antiquing wax off. You want to dab it with the paper towel instead of wiping it because it's such a shiny surface. If you wiped it, it would just remove all of the antiquing wax, and it also gives it a really nice texture when you just dab it. To cover up the electrical part of it, I'm going to take a small piece of drop cloth and put it over it. Then I'm going to cut a little slit in the middle so I can put it over the part where the light bulb screws in. Then I'm going to hot glue it to the piece. I just figured it would be easier to hot glue it first. And once it's all hot glued down, then I'm going to go back and trim off all of the excess. I decided to use drop cloth because that definitely goes with the decor in my house, but I think there's lots of options. You can use any fabric that goes with your decor. I think you could also use snow or moss. Just look around your house, look through your craft stash and see what you have that you can use to cover up this electrical part. I could have covered up the socket with the drop cloth, but I wanted to introduce a different texture here. So I'm going to use this lace ribbon. I think it may have came from Walmart, but I'm not positive. And I'm just going to wrap it around. You could also use jute twine. Once again, just look and see what you have on hand. So I'm going to wrap it all the way around, covering up the black part. Now I'm going to take this Christmas tree and remove it from its pot. I always stock up on these trees after the holidays because I use them for so many different projects. So definitely be on the lookout out for them at those after Christmas sales. Now, the metal on this tree was too long for the socket. So what I ended up doing was I just took it outside and used the metal bit on my jigsaw to cut it shorter. So that way it would fit perfectly in here. Then I just added a little bit of foam and lots of hot glue to the socket and then added my tree in. I am ashamed to say that I have thrown away so many of these light bases because I did not even know how cute this was going to turn out. I absolutely love it. Y'all let me know what y'all think. Y'all know I'm a sucker for a good basket, and this had a great wooden lid. It had this red gingham print on the inside. And it's cute as is, but I just wanted to embellish it and make it look a little bit more Christmassy. So I'm going to be using the IOD Holly Lanes mode and the IOD Air Dry Clay. I'm going to be using that longer holly swag in the center, and I've already dusted it with some cornstarch. You want to dust your molds with cornstarch. That way the clay easily releases from the mold, especially with these longer detailed pieces. So once I have the clay in, I'm just going to rub my fingers along the edges and pull off all the excess clay. And then I like to kind of just wiggle the mold to loosen everything up. And then I slowly, I turn it over and I just slowly roll the mold out. The smaller ones, it's very easy for them to pop out, but these detailed ones, the longer ones, you just want to do it a little bit more slowly and be a little bit more careful with it. I want to paint the mold before I put it on the basket because if I do it after and get any paint on the basket, it will be pretty much impossible to get off. I'm going to be using Fusion paint in the color Oakum. I love this color, y'all. As you can see, it's a very deep green brownish color. It's absolutely perfect for Christmas. I'm using the pointed sash paintbrush, and if I had to pick one paintbrush, this would definitely be it. It's great for all these small projects that I enjoy doing, and the pointed edge helps get into all the little details of this mold. So I'm just going to put one coat of paint on here, but instead of letting it dry and then adding white wax and doing more steps, what I decided to do was before the paint dried, since the clay was already white, I came back with a paper towel and just kind of wiped it down a little bit. That way it really gave this mold lots of dimension, and all I need to do now was let the paint dry and it will be ready to apply to my basket. The Fusion paint does have a built-in sealer. However, you can distress it with sandpaper once it's dry, or like this, like I did, you can use a paper towel and distress it before the paint dries. I want to tie the top of the picnic basket into the Oakum colored applique that I'm going to be putting on the front. So I'm just going to paint the top in the same color. As you can see, this Fusion paint has excellent coverage. So I'm just putting one coat of paint on here. It pretty much covered the whole thing, but I'm not even worried about it if a little bit of the wood is showing through, because that is the look I'm going for here, a little bit more of a rustic look. At this point, the paint is fully dry, but the clay is not. I'm actually going to glue it on before the clay is fully dry. That way it'll dry to the curvature of the basket. So I'm going to use a combination of hot glue to keep it in place immediately and Gorilla Glue for long-term adhesion. Now, I totally messed up here because I wanted the applique to curve down and not up, but I didn't realize that I had messed up until I had already glued it down, because the problem is when the handles of the basket are down, it is hitting the clay applique, and that is not what I want it to happen. It still looks good, but I wish I had realized my mistake before I glued it down. And since the clay is still wet and movable, I can kind of bend it up a little bit and hit all the edges with a little bit more hot glue just to make sure everything stays in place. That one coat coverage on the top of the picnic basket I thought was just a little bit too good, so I ended up going back with some 220 grit sandpaper and just distressing it down a little bit. I felt like the distress look definitely tied in more to the applique that I had put on the front. I think this is a perfect piece to put in front of your Christmas tree and put all those small little gifts in. I do not have my Christmas tree up yet, so y'all will just have to imagine. And if you have a plain basket that you feel like needs an embellishment, this is the perfect solution. I purchased these little wooden pieces. I think they're egg holders, and my original plan was to milk paint them. However, for this project, I think I just like them as is. I'm going to take these bottle brush trees, and y'all know the drill. At Christmas time, anything with a hole in it gets a tree. So this was just a very simple, quick, easy project. And I just love the rustic look of these. I think they would look perfect in a kitchen or a dining room. And I did not glue them in, so that way in spring, if I want to reuse these egg cups for another project, I can. All right, guys, that is the end of today's video. I do realize it was a little bit short, but I have been so busy this week shipping out all of the orders from my website, from the Black Friday to the Cyber Monday sale. So thank you so much if you place an order on the website. And if you don't know, I do have a website where I sell all of my thrifted finds, my upcycled finds, along with tons of DIY supplies that I use in my videos, like the paintbrushes, the Fusion all-in-one paint, the Fusion milk paint, and of course the IOD. So if you haven't checked that out, definitely check it out. I also have like bath and beauty, just tons of stuff. Y'all go check it out. Once again, I hope y'all enjoyed today's video. I hope it inspired you. Absolutely leave me a comment below and let me know what was your favorite project. Y'all have a great day, and I will see y'all in the next video.